one has to begin to, I think, reach younger people at an earlier age for them to shape their minds in a critical way of looking at these images and what they mean and how to interpret imagery. And I think in a more official way, I think, than just punching up on a computer or seeing something on a TV commercial or something like that. I think you really need to know. You need to know how ideas and emotions are expressed through a visual form. Now that form could be video, or film. It probably eventually would be digital video for a long time to come. But it still has the same rules, and it still has the same vocabulary, and it still has the same grammar, I should say. Really, the same grammar. And the grammar is panning left and right, tracking in or out, booming up and down, intercutting a certain way, the use of a close-up as opposed to a medium shot. What is a medium shot? What is a long shot? All these sort of things, and how do you use all these elements and the different kinds of lighting, and how you use all these elements to make an emotional and psychological point to an audience. And I think we have to begin to teach our younger people how to use this very powerful tool, because we know film, the image, can be so strong for not only for good use, but also for bad use. Look at World War II, and look at the films that were made in Germany. Look at the great director, Leni Riefenstahl. Look at her Triumph of the Will, and how that really, the extraordinary ability she had as a filmmaker, how that helped shape the policies of the Third Reich. And of course we know what that led to. And so film is very powerful. Images are very powerful, I should say, and we have to begin to teach younger people how to use them, and and at least to begin to understand, to interpret them. I think it is good if a young person wants to express themselves and take a video camera and go out, they're going to find that they have to frame the image. And in framing the image, they're going to find that they have to interpret what they want to say to an audience. Now, how do you point the audience's eye to look where you want them to look and to get the point, the emotional and psychological point that you want to get across to them? They're going to have to make that decision. The real making of the filmmaker is when they look to that viewfinder to tell the story. And I don't mean just telling a story, man goes, boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl. No, I mean a story could be a story could be rain hitting a tree, leaves. That could be your story. Where do you begin to put the camera? Then let them see what they do. Then, yes, there's a curiosity in children and young people. They may try one or two and then they realize it's not for me and they move on. But there's one or two that realize that if I put the camera under this leaf and I see this drop of rain coming at, I get it in such a way. And if I wait for a certain hour in which the sun is glistening, who knows? May not be a filmmaker, may be a great painter. But you'll find that they will learn. They will learn as they do it. At the same time, the respect for the language of cinema itself, the history should be taught, and the visual literacy should be taught, because there are others who are not going to be able to do that. There are others who can't afford to get a camera. And this is one of the things, where I came from, we couldn't afford any 8mm cameras or anything like that. I drew pictures. I imagined that they moved, but I drew them. Well, I think you have to make room for film and curriculum. I don't think it's time, and this is a key thing, we don't mean to be having young people take 2 hours of their time or 3 hours of their time a week, or however the curriculum works, to just sit and enjoy a movie. No, this is a learning experience. That also doesn't mean that you take a notebook and you write down everything in the notes as you're watching the film, because you can't see the film. So what you're doing is training the eye and the heart of the student to look at a film in a different way by asking questions and pointing to different ideas, different concepts, suggestions. You're training them to think about a story that's told to you in visual terms in a different way, and to take it seriously. I don't say it's a great film. You can learn more from even a bad film. And so this is why it's so important, I think, because so much of today's society is done visually and even subliminally for young people that it could be dangerous. And one has to know it's a very, very powerful tool.